This is Tech Addicts. This week, the hottest things: Sony Walkman, compact cameras, iPod apps, Stadia, and other bits and pieces like Samsung Galaxy S23s, floating solar farms, and more. Hello and welcome to the Tech Addicts podcast. I'm here joined by my ever-faithful Ted Salmon. How are you, ever-faithful Ted Salmon?
Hello, Gareth. How lovely to hear your voice again. And I mean that most sincerely. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. That was a question, wasn't it? Yes, I'm all right, thank you. Weather report from North Wales is sun at the moment, but pretty cold. And last night in the night, it was very cold. But apparently, this cold snap, after a couple of days, will be gone, and we're back to more boring, mild weather.
All right, okay, that's quite a weather update. For the minute, it is currently blue skies here. But I'm noticing that there's a lump of moss on my window that must have been dropped there either by a bird or a hurricane. So that could change any second now.
I thought you were under a flood warning over there.
No, we're all right. I'm just having a look at the Windows weather, and it just says cloudy today, 8 degrees.
Right.
Maybe it's other areas of Northern Ireland. There are other areas that I don't live in.
Ah, places outside your house.
There are, yes.
Wow.
Interesting, isn't it? Yes, there's a wealth of places to explore. Almost 4, in fact.
Very exciting.
One thing that was exciting was the fact that we were supposed to have Mr. Ricky West on with us this morning, but we're not getting him because of Apple.
Yeah. Poxy Apple. Whoops, I'll get in trouble for that, won't I?
He was supposed to join us, but at the last minute he went to install some software that to use to record the podcast, and it's not available for his is it silicone side of Apple. It's only available for the Intel side of Apple, which has left him up a particular creek without a paddle, which sounds like Apple, but not.
We mustn't slag off Apple, we'll be in trouble.
No, we're not slagging off. We're just pointing out something that they don't do.
They've got agents, in every corner of every street. They'll be round to nobble you, take your kneecaps out.
Oh, dearie me. That sounds pretty tragic. But Ricky will get us sorted out, and he'll join us next week for an exciting catch-up, because it's been a while.
Oh, he's just joined us in the show notes, look. I saw him pop in. Are you sure he's not joining us?
Oh, right, okay. Well, he was supposed to join us 45 minutes ago, so...
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
All right. So, moving into feedback and contributions, and no one loves us. No one said anything.
No feedback.
There was loads of feedback in the MeWe group, I noticed, during the week. People had posted stuff.
Oh.
Weren't you paying attention?
I didn't. I did have a quick look through, and I thought there wasn't really anything worthy of bringing to the show. But if you think of something in there, then bring it now. This is your opportunity to shine.
Okay, well, did you hear that, Jeremy? He didn't think that your retro computing post about the Atari portfolio was particularly interesting. And then Matt Jones, he didn't think that your post about radio hams was particularly interesting. Despite all of the responses that's been on. There's quite a lively chat, actually. I would recommend that people go there. I know Ted doesn't like people going to the MeWe group, but I suggest go over to the MeWe group and join in the conversation where everyone is talking about interesting stuff.
That radio ham thing was quite interesting. You're right. Chris Kelly was popping in with a background of doing all of that stuff, but it's something that passed me by. Really, I didn't really get involved in that. Did you?
I tried to. Yeah, I remember having a couple, and I ordered some radios from America, and they arrived without batteries, and I couldn't work out what batteries to put in them.
Yeah.
Because they had a little charging station as well, so it was like rechargeable batteries. Oh no, a pack of 4 or whatever. And you can't just stick in any old rechargeable batteries, otherwise it'll explode and possibly take out this little hovel that we call Northern Ireland. But yeah, it did kind of put me off doing that and delayed it. But it looks like Chris Kelly has quite the collection there.
Yeah. I think he was really stuck into it, along with, as you say, another couple of people who were into it as well. Yeah, I just didn't really do that thing. I just watched Tony Hancock doing it instead.
Tony Hancock? Let's go back.
Yeah, the blood donor and the radio ham. That was great.
Was that a TV show? A sitcom about blood donation and radio hams?
You don't know, you're not familiar with Tony Hancock. He was a comedian.
Yes, I know who Tony Hancock is. But
and he did these half-hour shows, and the most famous ones of which everyone knows except you, is the radio ham and the blood donor. Those are the two that everyone seems to quote whenever they talk about Tony Hancock.
All right, well, I'll go away and listen to them and be more up to speed next week and comment on them.
Or watch them. It's funny to watch as well.
Ah, right, okay. Okay, well, moving into the Hardline for the hardware, where we have a bunch of interesting stuff. And we're going to start off with Google, because Google have accidentally revealed an upcoming device with their launch of Fuchsia, which I believed was already out and currently messing up Google Homes all over the show, because Google Home has turned into an elaborate mess where it just doesn't do anything no matter what you do. There's one in particular in my house that I have to repeat myself every time I use it. At exactly the same level, exactly the same words, it'll just say, I didn't understand you. And then you say it again at exactly the same level, exactly the same words, and then it'll come through and go, ha, I'll do what you're asking me to do. And I blame Fuchsia for that, because it used to work flawlessly. What's the new device, Ted?
What new? Well, no. The point is, though, that there is a new kind of tablety thingy coming, apparently, allegedly, that is going to launch with Fuchsia, which will be the first, Google Home hub. What the device is not that important. The point is that it's coming with Fuchsia. Up to now, that's not happened. And I was digging about, reading a bit more about Fuchsia and trying to understand it and why it is that Google want to go away from using Linux as a baseline. And apparently the word is really that it's all about security and exploits. And if they can change Android and Chrome and everything else they do into Fuchsia, they'll have more control over people breaking into it and make it better. The problem that they're having, though, is that in order to particularly change Android into Fuchsia-based, they've got to work with all the app developers, and the app developers have to adjust. Well, what they're trying to do is make it so that when they switch it over, the app developers don't have to do anything, and that seems to be where it's getting stuck with rolling it out more broadly, which is why they're trying it with Home first and not with Chrome OS or with Android, where the world is littered with apps that could become broken, as you've just described. The other news about Google Home this week is that I eventually have got a home device, so I'm testing it out as well. It's only a speaker, but I am now kind of starting to use Home. Your turn.
All right. Well, what have you done so far
with my speaker? I've told it to tell me all sorts of things and to set up alarms and reminders and play music and radio stations, and I've just, it's not, I need to get some lights, I think, in order to test this properly, and some of those plug things that you used to put in Bargain Basement regularly, and actually do some more with it, because at the moment it's just a speaker.
Yeah. That's the problem with, at the moment, with the annoyances that I have with Google Home going in and saying for it to do something and it not doing it. I'm like, if you're not going to do that, then that eliminates your purpose, and I might just get rid of the whole lot. And I've heard that Amazon's Assistant is sometimes quite as finicky as well, so maybe we should just go back to hitting buttons ourselves. But the whole idea of losing the luxury of not having to do these things, it's a small luxury, but it's still a luxury nonetheless, is really off-putting, and I don't know that I could be without it. Like even just waking up and saying, what time is it? And it tells you the time. I know there's radio alarm clocks that shine a light, but much like Mr. Aidan Bell, I require darkness to be able to sleep and get rid of all those lights.
You see, I never do that. I never think to. This is what I was saying to Aidan. I said, I don't. When I wake up, I don't think to say anything. I just look across and see the clock. Now, of course, if you haven't got a clock showing the time, then you wouldn't, I suppose. But I don't. That's what I was saying. Really, is I need to get my head into talking to machines, and for me, that's all seems a bit odd still.
Well, yeah. Once you realise the usefulness of it, you'll lap it up, and there is no turning back. That's the hardest thing.
Okay.
So we're getting a new watch that doesn't have a face on it, Ted. It's called the No Watch, and it sounds like a bit of a stupid thing to have, but it looks like a lovely thing to have. I don't know quite what to make of this. It's the most undesirable, desirable thing I've ever not desired to desire. It
looks really nicely made, doesn't it? And those faces that are on the front, which don't do anything except look pretty, are magnetic, so you can clack them in and out and have a bunch of different faces on it.
Yeah.
The principle, as I understand it, though, is that it's a smartwatch. It does everything, all your blood oxygen and heart rate and all that, fitness stuff, but it just doesn't have a face. And I think that the logic that they're trying to follow is that people have got smartphones with them, and so they don't need their watch to be echoing what's on their phone, because you can just get your phone out and look at that. But on the reverse argument of that is that, well, that's what smartwatches are for, so you don't have to look at your phone. So it's an interesting way they're going, and I don't know, it might be just a complete gimmick. It's going to cost about 350 quid for one of these. So it's not cheap, but I don't know. If I was going to get a watch, which I'm not, I think I'd just get a smartwatch and not a smartwatch that doesn't tell me anything on the face.
Well, yeah. Crucially, whenever it comes to pricing, whilst it does cost that for the watch up front, you have to pay a subscription as well to use it for insights into self-knowledge. But they're doing it a lifetime membership free of charge for people who buy it now.
Oh, right.
But if you come to this, if it suddenly becomes the must-have gadge, then it's going to be like €12 per month.
What?
Or if you pay it €9 per month if you buy a yearly membership, and then €6 per month if you buy a 3-year membership. So it's you have to think ahead, but that could be something that actually kills them as soon as people do end up buying it to try and get that lifetime membership.
I love the tagline. It's not a wearable, but an awareable. Your
right.
Awareness.
Well, we'll see how well that sells. If we ever talk about it again, then I'll eat a hat. There's a lot of talk, I've heard of this from various different sources over the last couple of months, about installing solar farms on the sea. I think we've discussed this before.
Yeah.
But they're talking about the likes of in Indonesia putting in a whole load of solar farms and things like that that will power the islands that people are living on. And that could be an interesting way to solve our power crisis. And I like this idea. However, seas can be rough. And they could. I have a little solar fountain in my back garden that's sitting inside of a Belfast sink. And during the summer, it'll sprinkle water everywhere. But if it sprinkles water on itself, it becomes half as efficient, because the water's covering the solar panels, and it doesn't work quite as well, despite the fact you might think that the water might have a magnificatory type effect on the solar panels. It could work twice as much, but it doesn't. And you've got to keep them clean as well of algae and all kinds of salt and things like that. That'll probably build up on them over time. So it's not like a be-all and end-all solution. It does require quite a bit of maintenance and things. But what do you think of these, Ted? Are we going to see them off the court of Weston Supermare?
Well,
Weston Supermare!
Yes. As I understand the story, what the problem they've had so far is that they've been using all sorts of expensive methods to lift the panels up above the waves so that the waves don't go across the top of it. But what they are proposing here is a system called solar to wave, whereby they put downstream of the waves a kind of floating breakwater and then some buffering areas before the waves get anywhere near the panels. If you click on the show notes, dear listener, and scroll down, you can see a diagram of the anchored panel with the breakwater and the buffering zone. And so when it comes to the solar panels, now I don't know if the tide changes. I'm not sure how that's going to affect that. And this thing moves around to always face the incoming waves. I suppose it might do. But anyway, this is a new plan to save money and save money from having to lift the panels up away from the waves so the waves go underneath it, as you say, causing damage, to just break the waves up before they get to it.
Yeah, anyone who lives beside the sea knows very well that properties that are right on the seafront frequently get seawater all over the roof of the... You see these huge waves crashing across pubs that are down on the seafront and things. But looking at that solar to wave design, that breakwater seems like a missed opportunity for some sort of hydroelectric power machinery to be installed in it as well. Turbines and things underneath it, just to really get the most out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I suppose that'll probably put up the cost and things like that, having to R&D that. Maybe they can do that at a later date. But it's exciting stuff. I look forward to what we're going to end up seeing shoved around our coastlines that people will give off about. Mm-hmm. All right, Ted, so back over to you, because I know you're going to be oozing excitement over the Ricoh GR3. What's this?
Well, it's a very quick item. It's not really big news, to be honest, but Ricoh are trying really hard to keep this their flagship compact camera going, and keep cameras in people's buying sphere. And they've released a new version of the GR3 called the Diary Edition, and it's just got lovely colours and leather straps and signature highlights. They've done this quite regularly, the Ricoh, to try and just make their devices attractive for people to buy. They are expensive. You're talking over £1,000 for a compact camera with a fixed lens as well. They've added also a new imaging preset which produces an exquisite balance between rich colours and the unique discoloration common with prints produced from negative film. So they're trying to appeal to the kind of retro people like us and say, look, not only can you have a lovely new camera with a lovely new colour design that says diary, but we'll give you a case and a strap, and also you get this new image processing thing which makes your digital photographs even look like negative film used to.
For £1,000?
Yeah.
So for the price of an SLR, not even an entry level, a slightly better SLR.
Shush, quiet. Shush, shush.
You should turn your phone to
shush, shush.
Do not disturb.
I do apologise. And that SMS ringtone is very long. Sorry, back to you.
I thought it was someone ringing you.
Yeah.
Ted, get down here. I do wonder about the likes of this compact camera. Does it have some sort of software link up to your phone so that whenever you take a picture it can go onto your phone, or do you take pictures and then have to go home, take the SD card out, load it into your computer or your OTG cable, and then be able to share it online? Because the kids today would love to be able to just take a picture and then have that some sort of Wi-Fi connection to their phone and be able to socialise it ASAP.
Do you know, I can't remember. And I had one of these as well. No, I had the GR2. So actually the GR3 might be different anyway. But I think that my inkling is that the answer is yes, because these days they wouldn't stand a chance if it didn't do that. So there's one level of purism of, doing a kind of Leica thing where you keep away from technology. But Ricoh are not doing that. I think they are. And we should be coming later to a story, I think, about the kids and cameras. So that will hook in nicely to that one. But yeah, I think the answer is yes, it does do that.
Yeah, well, that's good, because I have it on I've got a Panasonic Lumia, and whilst it's a bit slow, especially, you can forget it with raw images, but the JPEGs, you can view them and then transfer them across, but it does take about 30 seconds over Wi-Fi to connect directly to your phone or your tablet when you're out and about.
I remember that.
It's just a pain in the ass to have to sit there and watch it. It might even be longer than that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm fairly sure it does though. That it's got an app. Anyway, I won't guarantee that.
Okay. Also, taking a walk down memory lane is Sony attempting to continue to keep its Walkman brand up to date. What is the NWZX707?
Well, I think it's less about what it is, and there's also the.
Well, then we won't carry on and tell people what it is.
There's also the NWA306, which is a budget version of this. These were both announced at 2023. What's it called? CES. That's the one. CES 2023. And this is less about the devices, more about the principle involved here, because I got one of these about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I thought I'll try this out because I was attracted to the fact that it had Android on it. And I thought, is this usable as a unconnected? So it's got Wi-Fi, but could you use this as your phone basically, but without a SIM card in it, without cellular connectivity, because you've got Wi-Fi. Okay, you couldn't get data down on it. The problem that I had with it was, now these ones are coming out with Android 12 on board, which is just great. The problem I had with the previous one was that it was on Android 9, I think it was, which was behind at the time anyway. And also, whenever you turned on the Wi-Fi, it sucked up the battery really, really badly. Now, with these new ones, but apart from that, you can put the Play Store on it. You can do whatever music playing apps you want. Sony don't even provide a music playing app for this anymore. You've got to you've got to install one.
Hello.
Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Gotcha.
5, 6.
You're there.
You've got to install
Sunday morning.
Yeah, you've got to install an app for that to actually get it going, as I understand it. But the point was that it used to just suck up battery, and it was just terrible. So you just turned the Wi-Fi off and didn't use the stuff that Android could do for you in terms of connectivity, messaging, and email, and the stuff that you could do with your phone. However, this one is saying that when the Wi-Fi is on, then it's going to last much, much longer. You get 25 hours of FLAC playback time. And loads of time, even if you've got the Wi-Fi turned on and you're using Android apps on the screen. So I guess we need to wait and see someone getting that one in their hand and look at the reviews to see if that's true. But that was my previous frustration. But the principle of it I really like. And having a Walkman that you just play music on is very retro, and I like the whole idea, yeah.
What is the difference between the 306 and the 707? Is there much of a difference?
It's a budget version of it, which is
the materials that it's built on. Because it's an MP or a music player, it can't have that much of a difference. It's not.
Oh, go away!
It's not even focused
Dismiss. Oh, I found the dismiss button on my Motorola phone.
Well, it's got a 5-inch 720p display. Whereas the 707, is that the 707's got a 5-inch 720p display?
Yeah, but it is quite small.
So what does the 306 have? They're like a 320 display or something?
No, it's the same. It's 720 on both of them. But 720 sounds a bit crap. But this is a small device, which is another thing that is, do you want to use this as your main phone? Because actually it's a bit like using a thing the size of the Marshall London. You're going back down, or an iPhone mini, I don't know. I just think it's a nice idea still, and I'm really pleased that someone, Sony in this case, is still doing this stuff and releasing it out there, and they're doing okay with the niche end of the market when not many other people, except cheap no-name brands, are kind of propping things up by knocking stuff out that's crap, but it's about 25 quid.
Yeah. See, I'm just trying to do a bit of a deep dive. The Sony Walkman 306 will be available later this month in Europe, priced £350.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say anything about the 707.
No, that's because they haven't announced the pricing on that yet.
No, and they haven't announced any specs or anything like that.
Well, they're estimating that it should be about 750 quid or something.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, am I?
The Sony Walkman NWA306, also called the NWZX707, in some territories.
What?
So they're the same.
No, they're not. They're absolutely...
Yeah,
No, they're not.
Yeah,
No, because they're quoting the 707 being at $788 on release. That's what they're that's what they're estimating in this Notebook Check article. But the 306 is definitely €399.
Okay. Well, then Sony need to take that out of their press release.
I'm very confused now.
No, it's not in their press release. I just thought I'd throw that in there just to confuse you. No, it says on one of the news articles that it's called the 707 in some territory. So perhaps Stefan Wiggleface has got it wrong.
Yeah, you speak with an authoritative tongue, and now I'm questioning myself. No, there are two devices here. There's no question. And the 707 is the premium one, and the 306 is the budget one. I guarantee it. I've read this.
Yeah, I'm having a look. I see the 700 series has little gold corners, and the 300 has black corners and a sort of plastic finish to it. So one's metal, one's plastic, essentially, I think. Which is a discernible difference between the two to be able to say that there are two devices, and Stefan Wiggleface doesn't know what he's talking about. Shut up and get back in your box.
Yeah, let's get back to cameras.
Yeah, why not? So, you were saying earlier about how younger people are looking to get rid of their smartphone cameras and rely very much on compact cameras.
Yeah.
Because I got bitten by the bug of the compact camera. Whenever you pick up some of the little compact cameras that we had, and I think, Ted, you did as well.
Yeah,
you ran out and bought one too, because they just feel so good.
Yeah.
And having a dedicated camera, it's just a bit of a shame that whenever you pick one of them up, it does have technology that's maybe like about 13 years old in it, and it's nowhere near as good as what you get in your smartphone camera today. But bringing that back, a bit like they did with Polaroid, they could make some really sexy little units that people love to hold. And especially for kids who like to stick stickers to it and stick vajazzle. No, that's vaginas. Bedazzle. No, I can't remember. What was that thing called? Where they stuck beads to it? Bedazzling, I think it was called.
Don't know.
And then vajazzling was something else that Ellen DeGeneres was... No, not Ellen DeGeneres. Someone else was doing. Gwen Stefani. No. Gwyneth Paltrow was maybe doing. Don't know. Yeah, I'll move away from that side of things. Pretty little things that little Gen Zers will like to take with them and poke in their pocket.
Apparently that's what they're doing. I was trying to work out what Generation Zers are. I'm looking at a graph now, and apparently Generation Z is... Oh, here we go. You've got to be born between 1997 and 2012. Right, so they're the ones that were born around the turn of the century, I suppose. Generation Z.
Right.
Okay. Anyway,
Do we need all these labels?
apparently, Generation Z people are ditching smartphones, and also there's another a sub story going on here about the same generation going retro mad with iPod apps. So they're putting iPods, and I'll link to this story as well in the show notes. They're putting iPod software on their iPhones and presumably other phones as well, Android phones, so that it looks like an iPod, and then they're controlling their music as if it was an old classic iPod.
Wow.
So there's that going on. Then there's the digital camera, and apparently, according to this article in Unilad, the authority on these matters, the kids are buying particularly the Nikon Coolpix models and then flashing them up with all sorts of skins, and it's all very trendy and, yeah, as you say, glitzing and blitzing their hardware to make it really, really trendy. And yeah, the kids are back on digital cameras.
But you see, I had this thing where I found a job lot of old digital cameras on eBay, and I bought them, and I've got a box full of, I can't remember how many cameras there are, and I went through them and got all the ones that are working and set them to one side, and ones that needed batteries and I couldn't tell and set them to another side, and then all the ones that are banjaxed, threw them out. So I think I've got about 50-odd cameras sitting under a sofa over there. And I started doing this. I was going to do a video series whereby is an old-fashioned camera, like you would have paid maybe 200 to 300 pounds for this compact camera 10 years ago. How does it compare to a modern-day smartphone?
Yeah.
I got a bunch of different smartphones, went out, took a load of standard pictures around my garden, around the coast and things, and took a selection of these cameras and went out and took the same picture. And they were all, I think my best quote would be, horse shit in comparison to what the smartphones were able to do. They were all blurry messes, and I know a thing or two about photography and tried to get the most out of it. I was like, how could we have managed to take these pictures back then and think they were great? But I suppose whenever you've got nothing to compare it to, aside from, well, silver-based photography, maybe, you just can't. They really were crap. So for the millennials and things, and the Gen Zers that are going out and starting to try and use these, they're just going to end up with nice little things that they have in their handbags that they're not going to use to take pictures because the pictures are just rubbish.
But these are not.
They don't compare to Polaroids.
But these are not 10-year-old cameras. They're brand new cameras that are still being made by Nikon. And presumably the tech has been updated to make them actually better than they used to be. If you're going to pay that amount back in the day, these days they'll get all the software working properly. If you buy a brand new Nikon Coolpix now, you can expect it to be smarter and better. What you need to do is your test, but with a new Nikon Coolpix, and see what the kids are talking about.
Well, I'm looking at some of these images of the ones with stupid stickers stuck all over them, these atrocities stuck to them. There's an old Fujifilm there, and there's an old Sony and a Nikon. But they are old. There's no PowerShot A100 or 150 or something like that. They're really old cameras.
No, the one that they're quoting for the article, though, is a Nikon Coolpix, which is currently still available.
Well, yes, they are all available through eBay.
No, new.
I'm going to Nikon's website now to see what Coolpix they have available. Compact cameras, right? Compact cameras.
Nikon
they don't sell
Coolpix.
any.
Nikon Coolpix on Amazon.
There's the Coolpix P950, which is £845. It's a bridge camera. There's the Nikon Coolpix P1000, which is a bridge camera. It's £1,000. There's the Nikon Coolpix B500, which is also a bridge camera.
Right, okay, well, perhaps I'm talking crap then.
No, they are. They're the old cameras that we have discarded, that kids are probably finding in their parents', I don't know, drawers at the bottom of or bedside drawers or something like that, getting a new battery and sticking stickers to them. That's the story.
Going back to your point, though, about the quality being crap, I respect the fact that you've gone and done that testing and all the rest of it, but my memory of having photographs from these compact cameras, the half-decent ones, were actually quite good. I think I need to go and do that myself, because on the back of you buying that box full of 50 cameras, I went and bought one as well, as you say, and I haven't really gone and tested it. So perhaps I'll do the same thing, and then we'll have a punch up about it on the next show. Because I think that a camera to some degree, as long as the lens is all right, is a camera, and it's got to be. Anyway, we'll see. I'll go and do some testing.
Well, I will. Most of them were terrible. There was one little Panasonic Lumix that I thought was great, and it was really fast to respond. It took some lovely pictures in ideal conditions. Didn't do good low light ones, but what I've done is I've stuck that in my camera bag as a backup,
which you'll never use.
I know, but it cost me £2.50 off eBay, and I quite like it. It feels good to hold, and that's the thing about these cameras is they are lovely little rectangular devices that fit nicely in your hand, and you just think, ooh, the things I can do with this, with an LCD screen on the back, and whenever you press the button and it works, you're like, hey, it still works. I can take a picture. Oh yeah, there's a crap picture.
Well, I'm going to test that, because I don't agree with you. I think I bought that little Canon thingy, and I'm going to test it out, and I'm going to challenge myself to put it up against my Motorola phone. The other thing is that you're using a Pixel 7 Pro, which is the best camera on any smartphone probably, and not a crappy £200 Motorola. So.
Well, whenever I did this, it was maybe about a year ago, so I was using, I think I had the S10 Plus at the time.
Well, rest my case.
But I also had an old Oppo and an old Huawei. I can't even remember what the Huawei was, because I had a selection of them. From the Huawei was an £80 phone, and then the Oppo was a £200 phone, and then there was another entry, and then I was taking the S10 Plus because it was the best one I had at the time. Oh, I've got an iPhone SE as well, which is my work phone, and just sort of doing a comparison between them. And it was like, really, I don't need a comparison with anything. It just needs to be compared against that £80 Huawei as to whether or not it's anywhere near as good as the £80 Huawei. It was hard.
Anyway, laying all that aside,
yes.
these photos that are coming out of a Nikon Coolpix, they're not going to be pixel peeping on them and blowing them up and cropping them and selectively enlarging them and blah, blah, blah. They just stick them on social media. So they don't need to be great quality, do they?
No, they don't. But whenever you stick them on social media and they're blurry and out of focus,
I don't believe
people
it.
go,
right, that's
hang
it.
on a second,
I'm
did someone just
testing
throw you
Where
some mud over your camera?
It's here somewhere. that little Canon, I'm going to get it out and prove you wrong.
Folks, I'm loving winding Mr. Salmon up here. Oh, he's back.
Yes. Anyway, I quite like this whole kind of retro thing. I think it's good fun. And they're retroing everything, aren't they? LP records and now cassettes and reel-to-reel and now compact cameras and iPods and Walkmans. I think it's good fun seeing things going around.
Yeah, and you're getting low-quality products coming out trying to cash in.
Stop whinging.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the 10.1-inch Android tablet from Ulefone Tab 8, which is launching in January. This is January, for $200. Tell me about this spectacular, one-tacular MediaTek trotting 4GB of RAM, 256GB storage. Actually, that's quite good. For $200.
Well, Ulefone have been in the market up to now producing rugged stuff, rugged phones, like a Doogie or whatever it's called, those sorts of things. Doogie, whatever they're called. And this is their first.
Doogie's that guy down the pub.
Yeah, the one that whacked me last night. And this is the first time that Ulefone have decided to do a mainstream consumer tablet. I think this is the news here. And it's not very well specified, to be honest. It's got a low-end Helio A25 chipset and a 4 gigs of RAM. 256 gigabytes storage is pretty good, I'll grant you. But it's not a particularly good battery, and I'm sure the camera will be crap. A bit like an old compact camera. We won't go there again. And it looks like it's, it'll be all right, won't it? It'll be all right for, your person who don't want to spend much money. don't ever expect it to get updated by the security or OS. What does it arrive on? Android
12, isn't it?
Is it 12?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. I thought I saw it somewhere there.
Yeah. No, I don't see it. But
Well, they're not admitting to it.
Yeah, I guarantee you that this will...
It's honeycomb.
I guarantee you that it will never be updated with whatever it arrives on. But $200, which will be about 150 quid probably by the time it gets here. And
it's not that bad. It's better than some of the other ones that we're seeing.
Yeah.
4 gigabytes of RAM is better than that crap that you were looking to buy.
The 3 gigs. Yeah.
256 gigabytes of storage is excellent with 6,580 milliamp hour battery with 10-watt charging.
Oh, 4 speakers. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
4G.
Oh, you can get a 4G version as well.
Yeah. No, I think that's quite good for the money. But then, how many budget tablets can we have? It would be nice to have something a wee bit more mid-budget, because the market for low budget or cheap tablets is saturated. Really is.
Yeah. Oh, there's also a 3.5mm audio jack, an SD card slot. It looks like all of them are cellular, because they've got a tray as default. Oh, there's also pogo pens on the bottom for an optional keyboard. Actually, yeah, I've changed my mind on this. Apart from the fact that it's Ulefone and won't get updated, it's actually quite a good buy, isn't it?
It probably is for them to roll out on the building site. It's not that tough, but maybe it'll come with a decent cover, and they'll just get a construction company that goes and buys 10 of them or something like that. So they're priced to sell in bulk, I'd imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a decent looking tablet. Hopefully it does hit the consumer market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Better than some. All right. Scientists have created the world's smallest record that can barely be seen by human eye. How many tracks can they get on this record?
They've only got one on it, and it's a very short track so far. I watched the video, which is in the link here on the NME website, and it is quite interesting to watch what they're doing. But it's a 5-minute video, and I didn't understand a word of what these scientists were saying, to be honest. They've produced this tiny weeny record that can be done. It's the size that could be put into the groove of a normal record, and they put "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree" on it as a. It's just a test bed, though.
25 seconds of "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree."
Yeah, the point of as these people were trying to say that I got lost with at the University of Denmark was that it's an exercise in miniaturization, and they're research scientists who are moving nanoscale, if that's what it's called, so that in the future scientific areas of research and medicine and other things, they can make things so incredibly small, nanoscale, that's the word, that they can just, moving forward with physics and medicine and industry, they can just make things smaller and smaller and smaller. And this was just a test bed. They made a record for no particular reason, just to demonstrate what they could do and how small they can make it. Really interesting to watch the 5-minute video, though, and see if you can understand what these boffins are saying.
I don't understand what the picture attached to the article is. There's like a red and white plastic thing.
That's when you watch the video, you can see that's a full size, a big mock-up of how the needle, inverted commas, at the end is accessing the grooves in the tiny. But that's a big mock-up version of it.
Right, okay.
That's been miniaturized. It's a bit like Journey to the Centre of the Earth. Everyone's being zapped down and then injected into a body with some fluid, and then they're in the bloodstream. That was a great film. I must watch it again.
Inner Space, wasn't it?
Inner Space. Was that what it's called? The film was called Journey to the Centre of the Earth, wasn't it?
Oh, right, okay. No, that's the Jules Verne one, where the Journey to the Centre of the Earth.
Yeah.
But Inner Space is the one where Dennis Quaid's injected into Martin Short.
Oh, I got my films mixed up. The one I'm thinking about is the one that he gets injected, and they go and try and repair some bloke's heart or something.
Yes, maybe there's a 50s or 60s version of that. I think there is, yeah.
Oh yeah, I have got the total completely wrong, haven't I? I do apologise. If we ever did any editing of this show, we'd take that out. But no,
it's all right. Just apologise more. Actually, I was watching a video on YouTube the other night, and it was quite interesting. It was about a fella who was looking to write his own records, and he was buying in all these different products that you could get. Where you can get this, I think it was a Japanese thing that came with some plastic trays that allowed you to cut in via connecting it up to your iPhone. It would try and do it, and there was a really interesting thing about bass when it comes to records, and how bass frequencies are cut down whenever they're actually cutting the record, and then the record player itself has a little bit of technology built into it that raises the bass back up again when it's reading it back out again, which I couldn't quite try to put it into words because I am me at the end of the day. But it was really quite fascinating how he was discovering this, and he made a little song himself. He tried to cut it onto this, and it wasn't working. It just sounded terrible. The bass was trying to cut into the next groove, if that makes sense. As it cut round, the bass was so big it would actually cut into the next groove, and would end up sort of not echoing but blurring with other grooves as the record went round. Right. But what he did was he went and found these older ones from the 1950s and 60s that had these kind of like paper records that would attach, and people could record their own voice onto the record and then be able to send it to one of their friends as a Christmas card gift or something like that. And apparently you can buy these records off of eBay and then play them. And he's gone and bought a bunch of them, and he was listening back to them, and there was some fascinating messages on them, just from the 50s and 60s. His family singing and children saying happy birthday or whatever to their loved ones.
Yeah,
but they've never quite managed to get record cutting at a decent level for the household, and that's because a record lathe is very difficult to sell through Argos. Yeah.
Anyway, just before we finish that item, I have found the film that I was talking about. Fantastic Voyage, 1966. That's the one I was thinking of.
Leslie Nielsen.
That was great fun.
Yes. Yeah. But yes, watch Inner Space. It's more updated for. And I think it has Rock Around the Clock in it or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know that one.
Dennis Quaid uses Martin Short as a speaker. And they're dancing around the kitchen. Uses Bones as a speaker. Bone conduction before it became mainstream. Right, the Samsung Galaxy S23 is going to be unpacked on February the 1st. What do you think we'll find, Ted? Is it going to be tablets, watches, or just the phone?
I think it's going to be the phones, but I'm not sure how many of them. No one knows anything about this. And I linked to a GSM Arena page where they're putting the specs in, but it's all speculation. They put a whole page of all the specs in there based on speculation, leaks. To be fair, they kind of normally kind of get what they're looking at, and they don't get things wrong too often. So an Ultra and possibly a Plus and a baseline S23, it seems. The big one is going to be the news, I suppose, which is a 6.8-inch screen, same as the last one, I think. And the usual high-end specs that you would expect from a Samsung that is going to cost a shed load of cash. And there's not much to say about it, really. Is that much different to the last one? I suppose the headline news will be the 200-megapixel camera sensor and 10 times optical zoom we've seen before. I've got one here on the S21 Ultra, which is 2 generations ago. They haven't seemed to have changed that. The 3 times optical zoom is not new either. It all feels a bit like if this is all right, it all feels a bit like an evolution of the whole kind of line, really. even, put down to fingerprint scanners being ultrasonic, the same thing, DeX and same size battery pretty much. They've upped the speed of the charging, I think, to 45. Or was the last one 45? The one that I've got's only 25, but that's 2 years old, so it might be new, I'm not sure.
Do you have the Ultra or the Plus?
I've got the Ultra from 21, though, and I think it's 25 on that. But I think my point was that I'm not sure if the S22 Ultra had 45 watt. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, it's all speculation. We don't know what they're going to announce and release, really. Have you heard anything more?
I got an email just before Christmas from a company that does cases for it, and they asked if I would like any cases to review once I get my Galaxy S23, because they have a stock of them in now. And it made me think that obviously the dimensions are out there for them to be able to create the case, or perhaps even some full models. But the fact that we haven't quite seen them on the Twitter spheres and things like that as being leaked makes me either think that Samsung are being very cagey about what it's going to be, or it's just so boring that no one really cares. And I don't know which way I fall. I would hate to be the person who says it's so boring, even though I just said it. But I'm really hoping that Samsung have something just that wee bit of a step ahead to really revitalise and excite.
Yeah, it seems unlikely, doesn't it? And there is talk also about the S24. I know this is even further ahead. That in the S24 range, they're going to drop the middle one and just have the base and the Ultra. Also, it would be really nice to see them putting a silo back in for the S Pen, because on the S21 Ultra, it hasn't got a silo. And it's really annoying because the pen, you don't know what to do with it unless you buy a case. But yeah, if there's a silo in it, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, you could always stick it up your nose.
Or, yeah, get some sellotape or blue tack and stick it on the back of the phone.
Oh, you've been talking to Steve Litchfield a bit too much there, blue tack. That works. All right, so moving on from Samsung to Microsoft, and they have announced this should really be under apps, shouldn't it? Oh. But we'll just go with it because
oh dear.
The newly announced Microsoft 365 Basic is coming, and it's a lot cheaper. It has 100 gigabytes of OneDrive storage and gives you access to the web-based Office apps and Outlook and things like that. So, was that not free up until now? Now they're sticking on a $1.99 price tag and maybe getting rid of the perks of the free tier?
Now, somebody in the MeWe group, when I posted this story, I think it was Frank Neidhart, had summarised what this is all about in one sentence. Let me see if I can find it. He was talking about the fact that oh, here we go. No, it's not. That's the wrong one. Come on, I'm scrolling down on the fly. Give me a chance. Oh, here we go. He said that it's basically a renamed and upgraded OneDrive tier. So I think they're going after what Google are doing, which is the 100 gigabyte £1.59 thing that I subscribe to. So they're going for that, but they're not taking away the free version of this. They're bundling in OneDrive storage for the free version. Because at the moment, in order to get any storage at all, you need to do what I'm doing, which is pay them the $5.99 a month to get the
terabyte, isn't it?
Yeah, the 1 terabyte, which I never use, sadly. And this is kind of going on a lower tier than that. It does not include any of the access to the Office suite, apparently.
Only the web versions.
The web versions, but it does
ad-free.
But it does include Outlook, as you said. So it's a bit of a mix and a match. I went to try and find a breakdown of exactly how it fits into the line of the services that they're offering. I couldn't seem to find one. Could you find that?
I have it here.
All right.
So Microsoft 365, the free version, is okay for one person. It's got 5 gigabytes of cloud storage. It works on Windows. It's got the mobile versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, OneDrive, and more, with ads. and then Outlook Web and mobile, email, and calendar.
Right.
This one, the $199 per month or $20 for the year. It has 100 gigabytes of storage. It has all the web apps, ad-free Outlook Web, and mobile, email, calendar, and advanced security, and then you get Microsoft technical support. So you don't get Outlook that you can download. You only get the web version ad-free.
But why
so
don't
there's going to be ads in the free version.
But why don't you just use the app?
Well, I think that's free on all of them anyway. So
Right,
they advertise that in the Microsoft 365, and then your version has 1 terabyte of cloud storage. It's got premium desktop apps, ad-free Outlook desktop app, and the mobile, email, and web versions, advanced file and photo protection on OneDrive, the technical support, and data device identity protection with Microsoft Defender, which is put into a personal one. So are they going to take away the reliable Defender that we have?
Ah, right.
Or make us have to pay for the better version of it? And then there's the 365 family, which is the same thing, but with... it's got 6 people, and there's a terabyte per person and all that kind of thing, plus a physical and driving safety features with Microsoft Family Safety mobile app, which is something I use actually quite frequently. It's a very handy tool to be able to tinker with my son's computer and keep him safe online. If they're going to take that away from me, then I don't know what I'm going to do. That's something that I use day and daily to ensure that my son's safe online, or try to ensure he's safe online. He does jump through hoops in order to try and get around that. But yeah, it's a strange breakdown, but obviously it's all money.
Good grief. I don't know why you asked me to summarise it. It was obviously all in your head. Do it yourself next time.
Well, no, it gave me time to go and find the information whilst you...
It does look interesting, though. Yeah, and if they take away Defender, unless you pay for it, that's going to be a big problem, I think, for lots and lots of users, including me. Although, because I get Office 365 or Microsoft 365 anyway, I probably will still get that, won't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Very interesting.
Yes. But I'll tell you one thing. It wouldn't pay to be American. Really wouldn't. And it's always one thing that I've always felt that the Americans got shafted on. I remember back in the day when I was cruising around America, being all I'm an international traveller type person, and I had my wee flip phone, and I would always hope that no one phoned me on it because it had a contract where you pay for half the call, which really hacked me off. So if I phoned someone, I would only pay for half the call, which is great, and they would pay for the other half.
Oh, yeah.
But it turns out that Americans pay 700% more for data than we do here in the UK.
Not
Don't
funny.
tell anyone
no,
that.
Not funny.
That's awful, isn't it? What is it? There's an interesting cost per gigabyte of data. So America average payment of about $5.62 a month for a gigabyte of data, whereas in the UK we pay 79 cents per gigabyte of data. That's insane.
Wow.
But Italy's even better. Italy pays 4 cents per gigabyte.
Yeah, look at the difference between top and bottom. Italy at 4 cents and Qatar $6.87. That's even worse than America.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know what to think. I know that in America they don't have the mobile deals that we do, where you go on the mobile phones direct and you just get these huge amounts of stuff thrown at you, plus a reduced price of the handset, or you're basically paying off the handset over 3 years or 2 years. I find that over in America, pricing them that way, you tend to have to buy the handset first and then negotiate your contract afterward to put in there. And you get gouged left, right, and centre. It's really, really nasty. So don't tell anyone. Don't tell Orange and things like that. Or Orange? Wait, hang on a second. I've just gone back 20 years in time. O2 and Vodafone and things like that, because they might decide, hang on a second, if the Americans can afford to pay that, we can start whacking up the tariffs. I'm horrified that we might start getting roaming charges to go back into Europe, because I live in Ireland or Northern Ireland, and going down south, I don't want to have to pay money to go across the border. That would be just not nice in the Anglo-Irish agreement. I'm going to have to start karate chopping people.
So
3 did that to me once before.
So in America, do you not get unlimited data? Or
I don't know if you can.
Are they taking that into account with the pricing? Perhaps they are. Perhaps they're saying they're still averaging it down to 1 gigabyte of data, and taking how much you pay for your unlimited and then dividing it down. I don't know. It's all a bit of a technical, mathematical exercise, isn't it?
Well, I suppose we could put out a plea to Americans to let us know what you're paying, and Canadians as well, because they pay even more again. I know that we have an awful lot of listeners from North America, and we'd be interested to see just how hacked off you are, knowing that we only pay 79 cents per gigabyte, whereas you pay about $5.60 or $5.90
for a gigabyte. But you need to know how to work that out, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And whether that's based on average of unlimited or whether...
It should be fairly easy, because we kind of know what we pay, where we're paying £30 a month for a certain amount plus the handset. Whereas if folks from the States come back and go, no, I had to buy my handset for $1,000 and now I'm paying $40 a month for my contract, which is this, and this, and then I have to share it with my family and all those sorts of things. It is complicated, and also they don't have as easy access to networks as we do. I do remember I think it was when I was in Miami, I could only use Singular. Was it Singular or Cellular? Yeah, I think it was. I couldn't get AT&T, which had a contract that I wanted, or T-Mobile with a contract that I wanted.
Because of where you were?
Yeah, it wasn't covered.
Right.
And you had to sort of swing from network to network.
Yeah.
And you'd be, in a movie, I've got no signal here. And it's like, well, maybe your network doesn't cover that network that you're able to pick up. A bit like here, but much more exaggerated. We seem to have like 99% of coverage, but you will have someone going, I've got coverage on Vodafone, but that person doesn't have coverage on 3. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe some folks can tell us what they're getting at the moment and how much they're being price gouged. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, in the name of the game, where we have some good news for all those Stadia fans out there. There's a new game called Worm.
No, it's Snake, isn't it?
Oh, Snake, sorry.
That's not really the good news.
No. I think coming this week, there's going to be a little unlocky type thing, an app that you can download that you hook up to your Stadia controller, and it unlocks the Bluetooth to allow you to be able to pair that with something else, which is wonderful. Well done, Google.
How are they going to do that? Because on the press release it says, we'll tell you later how it's going to work.
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to tell us later, Ted. Okay. It says in the press release.
I thought you said something about unlocking something somehow.
Well, I think that's what their tweet suggested, is that there's going to be some sort of app that you can download to hook it up, and it'll turn on Bluetooth pairing.
Okay.
And you'll be able to press a button and turn it on.
Maybe that's inside Snake.
It could be, yes. The Stadia controller is one of the best controllers on the market, and it was one thing that everyone sort of went, yeah, this is good. And having a couple of Stadia controllers knocking around, I'm really pleased with this. I look forward to being able to use this with my tablet and my television, because my NVIDIA Shield controller is crap, and my Amazon controller is crap. So I'll be able to replace it with my Stadia controllers, because I have
200.
Three or... No, I had 4. One of them's spasticated, but I have 3 knocking about, so I'll be able to have one for each room.
Gareth Williams has got 200.
He does.
He'll be
Yours.
delighted. Yes.
Do you have any left at all?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got £19.99 back for the one that. Yeah, you think that they would take their money back again, wouldn't they? Right, we'll give you this Bluetooth unlocking thing, but then if we've refunded you, then we'll have it back.
But I'm wondering, does that mean that the value of these are going to go up on eBay?
Yeah, good point.
Because they become a viable controller, and a good one at that.
Yeah, possibly. Can you still buy a new one? Well, I suppose you can on eBay, but can you mainstream?
Nah, I wouldn't imagine so. But there probably are stock of them somewhere, so you'll see them going out. But again, it'd still be a pretty good deal as well, because you get a Chromecast with it too. So it can just be a good gaming bundle or a home entertainment bundle.
I told you that Google were not all bad.
Yeah, it did take them long enough to come round. Well, there's one there, Google Stadia Premier Edition, £65.
Oh, right.
Wow. Gosh, yeah. So keep an eye on, if you're going to be selling your Stadia controller, if you haven't already, you could sell it in a couple of weeks' time whenever the demand is hot. And if you've already sold it, then bummer.
Tough titty.
Big bummer. Moving on to Flap Your Trap About an App. We should get Aidan to write some jingles, because I'm sick of saying these titles. They're stupid titles. Who thought them up? Moron.
Aidan would love to do that. All you would have to do is ask. He'd be right on it.
Oh, right, okay. Aidan, if you're listening. Okay. VPN by Google One is now available for your desktop, which is kind of good. I'm getting really hacked off with VPN because it keeps reminding me on my phone that it's not on. I'm like, I know it's not on. I'm fine with it not being on at the moment. But yeah, if you subscribe to Google One with their $7.99 a month 2 terabyte premium tier, you can get Google One for your desktop as well. I suppose, VPNs, there are a lot of free VPNs out there, but you take your chances with them. And Google would be probably one that people would prefer to have. Ted, do you use Google One at all?
When it first was unlocked, I put it on the Pixel 7 and I used it and looked at what it did and noticed that it didn't really impact my life in any way. And then I spoke to Steve Litchfield about it, and he kind of shrugged and said, "So what? Unless you're doing something naughty or dubious, then what's the point?" Pretty much. And so I thought, well, I turned it off again and never went back. But in terms of desktop use, I'm not sure. What are the implications? There must be some downsides. Does it not interfere with anything that you might be doing?
Well, it can help you where a lot of people are working from home and things like that. They might be taking a laptop into a coffee shop or something, and you'll be able to turn it on whenever you're connected to the coffee shop Wi-Fi.
Sure,
so it'll protect you that way. Yeah. It's just an added bonus to have in there. I rarely use mine as well.
Right.
And I've got my pie hole in the house and my wire guard, so I'm completely safe here.
Why didn't you just turn it on and leave it on?
Well, I had to turn it off for something the other day because I was using it. I had been out, and I came home and I forgot to turn it off, and there was something that popped up. I couldn't access the site, I think.
Ah, right. That's what I'm talking about. You see. What are the downsides of this? What will it interfere with? And that's what I feared might happen.
I can't remember what it was. No,
right.
It's gone. But it's just a layer of protection that it's nice to be able to have at a button to be able to turn on if you're in a cafe and your signal's not great in your mobile phone, and you want to just use the cafe's Wi-Fi
and head for Big Jugs UK.
Why are you into your pottery these days?
Enough of this filth.
Dirty jugs. Right, okay. Have to get them cleaned. Okay, Samsung Galaxy phones get Matter Easy Pair for quick start home setups. This is an NFC type thing, I would imagine, that allows you to be able to pair quickly with stuff if you're using a Galaxy phone. Is that right, Ted?
Yeah, I think so. Well, the Matter-enabled device stuff is coming along, as we know. They're supposed to be all working together so that home stuff all works with each other and everything's universal, blah, blah, blah. And Samsung seem to have got ahead of everyone else by saying, right, if you've got Matter-based devices in your house and you turn your phone on, it will detect it automatically and offer you a quick setup for that equipment. That's it, really. And I'm sure that now Samsung have done it, everyone else will do it, and we'll move forward.
I hadn't read this beforehand. I just thought that was really poor English. Matter easy pair. It's like Warriors of Future. Okay, yes, Matter the company, easy pair. Yeah, gotcha. That makes more sense. And we talked about them a number of shows ago. They do seem like a decent company. So yeah, good.
I'm not sure if is it a company or is it just a protocol?
I think it's a protocol.
Everyone's just working together to make sure that stuff talks to each other.
Well, that's grand. Good. Excellent.
Yes, indeed.
Microsoft Office next big trick is to use AI to write documents for you.
Oh, yeah.
Which
have you had a play with
really
this?
Interesting. No, I haven't. No, does it work?
Yeah. I put a link in the show notes to a place where you can have a go yourself. And I went and did that. And I watched a couple of YouTube videos of other people doing it. And it's really ever so clever, you've got to admit. There was one guy on a YouTube video who was doing it to write some code for a program. And it was just like phenomenal what it was doing. Amazing. How on earth this does this? I've no idea. It's just all really, really clever AI. And someone's going to make an absolute fortune out of this when they start charging for it. Steve and I were experimenting with writing a summary of one phone against another. And, okay, it didn't drill down to the nitty-gritty, but it was a really well-done summary for someone that would have a casual interest in the pros and cons of these two phones. But yeah, you can have a go. Just type whatever you like in, ask it to do whatever you want, and it will write a document for you. Very clever.
Can you use it to write fiction?
You can use it for whatever you want. You could say to it, write me a story about a fox and a chicken and a tree, and it would do something with that. You just need to play with it to see what it does. It's amazing.
Oh, well, I'll have to do that. I did watch a video actually quite recently where a guy was he was going to tell us about the future of photography over 2023. And what he did was he went and he put the information into AI, some AI engine, and he read the script. And then he talked about whether or not he agreed with what he heard, and that was, or what he was saying when he was reading this script. And it was kind of fascinating, and it was really well written. He didn't have to. There was no typos.
Yeah. It really is. Words defy how smart I think it is. So link in the show notes to openai.com, and you have to give it your mobile phone number because it sends you an SMS code to make sure that you're not a robot and all the rest of it. But since I did it, I've not had any dubious messages or phone calls, so I think it's fairly safe.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm having a go now. Right, you can tell me a story about hot girls with skimpy knockers. That's a bottom gag. Hot girls, skimpy knockers, look at everyone.
There's no depths to which you will not sink. We're back on Blackadder now.
Well, that's what it'll probably be used for. Kids will use it to write stories about bums and poo, and then adults will use it to write dirty books. I see.
Yes.
Gotcha. YouTube Shorts revenue sharing starts on February the 1st. There's a new partner program agreement that's due to roll out. I think Google have taken the opportunity to change the way the revenue sharing works with YouTube Shorts. Obviously, revenue sharing is something that was built into YouTube after YouTube already existed, so it's not that easy for them to go and change everything. But since they've built YouTube Shorts from the ground up, they've been able to plan for revenue sharing to roll out to those who are using it. And obviously, it gets used in a different way to regular YouTube videos, that someone's maybe sitting down to watch a 45-minute video, that would pay differently to someone who's sitting down and watching a 10-second video on YouTube Shorts. So it makes sense that there's going to be something new there. And the first big YouTube revenue or YouTube Shorts revenue went out last year, and there's going to be another one now, and there's a partner program rolling out. Ted, I take it Steve's all excited about this, so you can pay for a new house.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I think Steve's the only person that I know that does shorts, apart from people I don't know. I'm just drilled down into this article.
Steve's the only person you know, that apart from the people you don't know.
Yes, thank you. But don't be so pedantic.
I like it.
I drilled down into this article to see how they're going to split it, but there's a long Google article that it links to in Google support, and I can't quickly see what the division is or how they're doing it. I think they're design. Oh, hang on a minute. YouTube will pay 45% of the net revenue from premium that is allocated to monetizing creators for shorts. Have you done any shorts yet?
No, I haven't. I have been thinking about it. I've got a plan for some that I'm going to do, and it could go for a good while, but I don't like facing the camera anymore because I'm not as young and handsome as I used to be. Yeah. But then neither's Steve. Sorry, Steve. Any chance for none of us can be Alan Gilday, which is unfortunate. That guy's like 60 and still looks like he's a heartthrob bastard.
Yeah, you could do shorts that are not with your face on there. You could still do the way you do it, but just do it as shorts. I don't know. The trouble with shorts, I find, as I've told Steve, is that they're instantly forgettable. So he says to me on PSC, "Did you see my short this week?" And I think, "Oh God, I can't remember what you said on it," because I watched it. 60 seconds later, it's gone, and you're on to the next thing. When you watch a 15-minute video of him reviewing a phone, you digest it and you remember.
Yeah.
But the shorts thing, I need to watch it 3 times, like 2 days apart, to try and digest and maintain what it was about and what was in it.
Yeah. Well, no, it is quite good. I remember Steve's shorts. I've watched them quite frequently because they come up quite frequently. No matter how often I go to YouTube Shorts, I keep seeing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
And I'm a bit sick of some of the things that it recommends me because it doesn't take into account what you're maybe interested in. Like there's some girl who does some step aerobics. I don't know where that's coming from. I really don't.
No, but
she's fully clothed, so it's not something that I would...
But apparently you've got to work with the algorithms, and the algorithms work by seeing how long you stay on it. So if you quickly flick past it, you get one up, you see that it's something you're not interested in. The act of quickly, within 2 seconds or 3 seconds of flicking it away, tells the algorithm you're not interested. And that's how it learns. It doesn't learn by liking and not liking and all that. That's all old-fashioned now, apparently. You've got to be smarter than that.
So what you're saying is the algorithm just doesn't work again? Because whenever I flip past girl who's doing step aerobics, because I'm not going to be watching that, fully clothed, as I mentioned. Whereas I come across Steve, I'll sit and watch that. I'll maybe watch it a couple of times whenever it does come up, because you're quite right. It is forgettable whenever you zip past it. Or if there's something newsy, or if someone's doing a quick Blu-ray review, because I love those. And that might be a bit of a hint about what I'm possibly looking at doing.
All right.
That, zipping through those, I'll stick on those, but I don't get them terribly often, and Step Aerobic Girl is the one that's always at the top of the pile for me, over and over and over again, until she does a new one, then that one over and over and over again.
I can't speak for YouTube Shorts, but I do use TikTok, and I can guarantee that what I just described works on TikTok. If you use the quickly dismissing thing, you can manipulate what stuff you're being served up with afterwards. Now, whether Google have not quite got that right with YouTube yet, I don't know, because I don't use YouTube Shorts really.
Right, okay. Well, just opening it here, and yeah, there she is, dancing a bloody jig in some sort of abandoned car park. Okay. Every time. I don't watch it. I've skipped past it. Hopefully I'll never see it again. If a thumb...
Really, really quickly?
Yeah. Well, I've maybe lasted about 3 seconds there. It's like, oh, no, done. Oh, no, done. But if
Try flicking past it in 1 second.
But it's gone now. I have to go back up to... No, never mind. We're moving on, okay? Google. Google's Discover is rolling out. You put this in quite late on, didn't you? I haven't had a chance to read it.
Yeah. I was just... Let me have a look again now. I turned my tablet on, and it's still not doing it. Come on.
I've got mine here as well. Can I do it? What is it?
Well, if you swipe... Well, presuming that your tablet lets you swipe right to the Google Discover...
No,
the
it's
Google
the
feed.
entertainment thing there.
Yeah, you can't do it on those. But if you swipe to the Google Discover thingy, apparently Google are rolling out this thing whereby it's changing into 3 columns instead of 2 for the tablet thingy. So they're obviously preparing for their own tablet next spring, and they're making all of their apps much more friendly. And actually, the point I was going to make about this was that would be really good, because the 2-column thing that sits at the moment in that feed, it just looks stupid. Anything that's got black left and right of the content just looks stupid. Are you listening, MeWe? Because it just doesn't work. It looks daft. So I'm very pleased that they're doing this and filling up screens. Good for them.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to get Google Discover on my Lenovo right now. There are ways.
Oh yeah, your Lenovo should do it, shouldn't it? Oh, it might not though, because my Samsung Tab S8 thingy does it, but then Samsung did a good deal with Google, didn't they? I'm not sure if it'll work on a Lenovo.
Well, I have the A8 down in the house, so I'll have a go on it. I didn't think to bring it up with me.
I don't think you'll get it on the A8. I think it's only on premium Samsung devices. So I'm not sure. You try it, yeah, see.
How mean that they would do that. Yeah. Well, okay. I'll admit defeat at this moment in time, but I'll have a look at it later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Google News is actually really hacking me off at the moment, because you get a notification of something that you might be interested in, and you click on it to think, oh, I'd like to read that news article, and then it's not there. It takes you to Google News, and it doesn't show you it. It's like, what?
Google News is different to Google Discover, though.
I know, but I was just trying to sort of latch on to it because it's something I can talk about.
Right.
But never mind. if you want to keep the Google Discover all to yourself, then...
Google News, actually Google Discover needs making more like Google News, because Google Discover, all the share options are all different and they're not as good. In Google News it works really well, except what you just said. Obviously it doesn't work well for you. Well,
no, it doesn't. So there you go. All right, Chrome Corner, what's happening new in the world of Chrome?
Chrome Corner. Do our own jingle, shall we?
No, Aidan's going to do them. He heard us. Hopefully.
A quick reminder to tell you how to check your Chromebook's update schedule and how many years of updates you've got left and all the rest of it. It's in settings, and you drill down to Chrome OS additional settings and update schedule section. And then it tells you in black and white, in plain English, well, if you're English, I suppose, when your Chromebook will be supported to. You can also, I'll link in the show notes also to Google's own page, which gives you an end-of-life list of all manufacturers' devices. Now, I don't know how up-to-date that is, to be honest. It seems to have been lurking around for an awful long time. Be interesting to see if your Lenovo's in there. Let's have a look, shall we? Live on the show. What's your Lenovo thingy?
My Lenovo thingy is the
Chromebook.
I don't have a Lenovo Chromebook.
Oh, what's your Chromebook?
It's the
it's
Asus.
Asus.
What is it? The CP454 or something like that.
454. Mind you, that's been around for a while, hasn't it? 424 for Asus. 434.
Excuse me.
Oh, here we go. 434. So yours runs out in June 26.
Yes, I saw that actually this morning when I did an update. I noticed it.
Right. Yeah, so you can check that on Google's page or through the settings that I just led you a merry dance towards. The other bit of news that I wanted to talk about this week was that Chrome Unboxed did an unboxing, a hands-on rather, of the Asus Chromebook CM14, and again we'll link to the in the show notes to that. The interesting bit about this, according to Robbie, Chrome Unboxed, is that it's the first one with a MediaTek Companio 520 with wild battery life. Wild! And actually, he was presenting it as being a really, really good value device. Not quite sure how much it is, but they think that it's going to be retailing at about 250 to 300 quid. It's got a stylus in a silo in the side of the device. It's apparently really well made. It's got a USB-C, USB-A, micro SD, 8 gigs of RAM, and it just looks like a really, really good, nice new... Asus are good at this, putting out very, very... bit like Lenovo, really, putting out very, very, very well made and thought out devices, but at good prices. So, yeah, have a look at that, and we'll see how much it costs when it arrives.
Is it just me? Whenever I click through to the article of that, I suppose it would be the same on the video. Sorry, throat's starting to go. It's been a long time.
Oh, dear.
On the ChromebookUnbox.com article of that, the picture where I think it's Robbie's holding the laptop out,
Yep.
in his left hand.
Yep.
Is there a bit of a bend to the chassis, to the keyboard?
Yeah, I think that's an optical illusion. I'm sure there's not.
It must be the shadows or his hand or something like that, but it does.
Yeah.
It looks like, yeah.
It won't be bent, I assure you. But that stylus looks really nice, doesn't it? You can just see it sticking out there, and I think that's really nice. I like this whole Chromebook little thing. The more functionality they put into it, the better, obviously, and people don't come unstuck then with. How to... I came unstuck this week with something with a Chromebook that it wouldn't do. What was it? I was trying to get some files across to it, and I can't remember. I'll come back to that next week.
Fair enough. Not that you'll remember. What price is the CM14? It does look very nice.
Well, he was saying that he thinks it'll be about $300. So I was pitching 250 to 300 quid probably, which would be really good. It's a 14-inch device, kind of given away by the 14, the name of the
Funny that.
But it's the chipset that he reckons is going to be, because the Companio 520 was built specifically for, I mean, it may not be terribly fast functioning. It's a budget device, but the battery life, he was talking about, 16 hours of use between charges. So, yeah.
Just have a quick check on Amazon to see if it's for sale here yet, because it does look nice. No, it's not. Nuts. No, it's not. Okay. Well, moving on. Hark back. I was thinking about this during the week. I was trying to remember all the different types, and I just thought I'll throw it in here as a real quickie hark back. Not that we're running long or anything like that, but just because it was something that I noticed when I was growing up, and that was VHS boxes. Whenever you went to a video library, I worked in a video library when I was about 16 or 17 years old. It did some decent, normal videos, and it also did a large amount of smut that was kept under the counter.
Back to big jugs.
Yeah, but I remember down the back, they had what was the original Warner Brothers video archive. Where I think even James Bond was released on the Warner Brothers label back in the 80s, and they had these really nasty black plastic VHS boxes that was made out of like a soft plastic, and it will crack and break, and it had the black Warner's logo on it, or not logo, but the colorant of the actual inlay was black, and then it had I remember from Russia with Love, had a really boring picture of Sean Connery on the phone on the front cover, and it said Warner Brothers, and then they give you a bit of information on the back, as you would expect. But it was bigger than the ones that you would buy over the counter out of Woolworths or Wellworths or Easton or NP or whatever it was you happen to be buying your videos. And it always interested me that VHS cases in the video library were so much bigger than the ones you would get out of Woolworths. But there was good reason for that, and that's because the video cases that came in the video library were more durable. They were made out of a harder plastic, and they were larger, so they could be thrown around quite a bit more because, they'd be stacked and moved and all that. Whereas in Woolworths, you pretty much take it off the shelf and then put it in your collection at home, and that would be about as much as it would be transported. And if it were to fall, it would probably fall in the carpeted area of your living room on the way from the video shelf to your VCR. The ones in the shop would require a lot more mishandling and things like that. It'd be picked up by various different customers. Slightly bigger box meant they could put more information on it, have nicer art, and the tape itself would be made out of a higher quality tape, so it would be able to withstand more rewinds and fast forwards. Perfect example of that is Basic Instinct. Finding a VHS copy of Basic Instinct that you can actually still see the beaver in is difficult because everyone paused it or rewound it to rewatch that scene. It was notorious for that happening. I'm not being crude or anything. That's what happened. And people would deliver the video back to you in the video library and say, that video is a bit stretched. And you're like, whereabouts is it stretched? Oh, should we put it on here now and just check it? And they're like, no, it's a bit stretched. And it was kind of funny that, and you would know where there was nudity because people would complain about the stretchiness of the video because people would be pausing and fast forward or slow motioning through that section of the film. The dirty beasts that they be. And there's a whole array of smut under the counter they could have had. There was 5 hours worth of porn they could have just hired out for the same amount of money as Basic Instinct with the 5 seconds of snatch. So it got me thinking about how all the video boxes, I had a big collection of Buy X Rental and things like that, and you'd have higgledy-piggledy boxes all throughout your collection. And sometimes they would come with not many people realise this, but changeable covers. I remember Mosquito Coast, the Harrison Ford film. When I bought it on video, I took it home, and I dropped the box when I took the video out, and the inlay card thing that the picture, the video description fell out of it, and I realised that it could turn around 180 degrees, and there would be a different poster on it and description, yeah. So you could actually have it in the drama section, making it look more of a drama, or you could take it out and put it in the action adventure section and make it look more like an Indiana Jones movie. So depending on how you wanted to sell that video in the video library, and I thought that was really interesting. And you end up getting all this nice alternate art because I love my video art and my movie art. But the Warner Brothers cases were the ones that I was particularly interested in because none of them can be alive now. They've all got to fall apart. They get one crack and that's them done. Eventually that crack just expands and then the whole thing starts to fall apart. If you left them in the sun, they would dry out and crack and break, and they were so brittle and things. There'd be little trails of little bits of black plastic whenever people picked them up to bring them down to hire that video out. And it was always a crying shame because it was nice that Warner Brothers kept the design exactly the same, even something as simple as the BBFC rating. As you looked along the spines of the videos that were in the shelves, they would be pretty close, not exactly identical, but you could make lines out of them because they were that. They used one template over and over and over again, and there were very small variations in it. So it all looked like a nice library. You would have loved it, Ted, because it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Yes. Aside from the actual shape of the BBFC, because the PG would be a triangle, and then the circle would be 12. Well, 12 didn't exist back then, but 15 and 18. And then U, I think, was a triangle as well. So that would be the only deviance. and aside from the logo of the film, where they would print it the way it was printed originally on the cinema poster. It was nicely done. It was a beautiful library, and it just was married up with this crap plastic. But I found it interesting that there were two different types of video box that they made, one more durable than the other. Do you have any experience with video boxes? Did you have a video collection?
Yeah, absolutely. But what came back to me through your piece there was the fact that inside the boxes, you're quite right, that there was a placeholder away from the edges in the ones you got from the shop, and when you bought one from Woolworths, the tape will go right out to the very edges, and I'd completely forgotten that. But yeah, the ones in the video rental shop, there was these four corners that sat in the middle of the plastic, and so there was like an inch around the tape in every direction, and you're quite right, they were really much more robust, those covers. And the ones you got from Woolies were just, they would just chip and break, because, as you say, they're not designed for people to keep pulling things in and out of them, the tape in and out of them, like you would if you were renting them out. But I didn't know about the extended thickness of the tape for rental devices. I remember you saying to me once before, if you're going to buy a tape, then buy one that's been an ex-rental because of that. But I didn't realise that it was something that they did routinely, so that they last longer and don't get broken so easily. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah. Even if you hold a video, if you have two copies, say Terminator 2 from the video library and then Terminator 2 that you bought out of Woolworths, you could really tell the difference, because the Terminator 2 from the video library would be so much heavier because it's thicker tape. Also, it's got thicker plastic around the video cassette, whereas the Woolworths one will be as flimsy and lightweight because it's only been designed to play maybe 20 times or something. There's no way people could watch the movie that many times, whereas the one for the video library would be designed to play 200 times.
Yeah.
And they pay for that. The video library pay for that, because for them to buy that video initially, it probably would have been, between £70 and £130 for them to rent out, whereas they weren't allowed to buy the ones from Woolworths and then rent those out. And it would always say on the back, rental.
Not for rental.
Yeah, I think you get that on DVDs and Blu-rays now, because I think there's a copy of a movie that I bought off eBay, and it says for rental purposes only, which really irritated me. The person said it was brand new, shrink-wrapped. And it was. They'd shrink-wrapped it themselves, and it said rental copy across the top. And it doesn't have half the extras that you get from the one that you would have bought off Amazon. But then it was only £1, so I wasn't too...
Yeah.
But videos, much like we were talking about cameras as well, they're coming back. I've seen people on Twitter taking photographs of their VHS collection and how they're trying to track down, the original libraries, like I was talking about with the Warner Brothers collection. They want to be able to put that together and have it on a wall of the hundreds of titles that Warner Brothers put out, because they all look the same. Whereas if you have a look at a DVD collection now, you've got different sized boxes, you've got different coloured boxes, the spines are all different, and some of them have slip cases, some of them don't. So they have... there's box sets and things like that have to be mixed in as well. You can't put together a beautiful looking library like Reader's Digest might have. Warner Brothers had that back in the 80s, and I wish they would do that again. I think certain boutique labels like 88 Films or 101 Films try to keep their spines so that you can put them together, especially whenever it comes to the larger cardboard box Blu-ray releases that are coming out. They all look quite nice together. But you're only getting certain titles released that way, not sort of entire studio titles or franchises or something like that you want to have all sitting beside each other. I remember buying the Star Trek series on DVD, and there were, I think, 8 DVD films in the franchise, and there were 8 films in the franchise. Sorry. And sorry, my son stuck his head through the door there and said, "Lunch is ready."
Lunch is ready.
Yeah. But Star Trek 6 on the side of it had French, because it must have been released in French Canadian version of it, and for some reason that was the version that Amazon.co.uk decided to send me, was the French Canadian one. So I had two different titles and it looked different. And I was like, oh, these are all designed to look the same aside from Star Trek 6. Why? I was furious about it. But sorry, yes, it was supposed to be a real quickie, but I ended up blethering as per usual.
Pictures across. I do remember collecting those where you had pictures, one picture that went across all of them if you put them up in line, as you say.
Yeah,
and that was good. That was good fun. You had to make sure they're in the right order, as you say. But yeah, I think perhaps back in the day with VHS boxes, there was a bit more kind of care taken about stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was the one that I was thinking of that I had? It wasn't Star Trek. It was something. Was it Ally McBeal? It was something where if you put them in the right order, that it made a picture. It was really quite worth having and worth putting in the right order just to see it.
Well, I know Star Trek has done that a few times. Now, there was a video box set series where it had a picture of the Starship Enterprise when you got all 6 of them together. That was on VHS. Yeah. But then they released a series of, was it graphic novels or something, where there were hundreds of them. And whenever you put them all end to end, it created this big space vista of different ships. And they had it kind of themed through, Shatner, Picard, or Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and that kind of thing. And yeah, it just, where it was on one wall, it would just look like the one big long line of imagery, and I'm sure very few people were able to lay that all out with one shelf. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the bargain basement section. Bargain basement. Yes, we're going to start with you, Ted.
This is a alternative to the Steam Deck dock made by Valve, and this one is made by a company called iVolar. Ooh. And it's been picked up by Rock Paper Shotgun, which I am subscribing to these days because they have some interesting articles, and it teaches me about games, and I can try and keep up with you. And yeah, £37.59. And since I posted this on the MeWe group, Adrian Brain also chipped in and said they do another one. There's another version of this with a slightly different file name, and in the product name, and in the base of it, the one that he's talking about, you also get 2 slots for SD cards, so you can use it as a storage medium as well. So yeah, a couple of those out there. Have a look round. I'll link to the 3759 one, but have a look at the other one as well.
Yeah, it's a good looking piece of hardware. It looks to be made of metal or something around the outside, with a little poppy up stand.
It does, and 3 USB version 3 ports as well, USB-C, an HDMI, there's even an Ethernet port, and then a cable fixed to it that goes round to your Steam Deck for the power. But what Adrian was saying was it's not just for Steam Deck. You can use this. He uses one with his phone, and it apparently sits in the kind of wedgie bit at the front. Wedgie, and it just does as good a job as if it was a Steam Deck. So this one is quite universal. Nice one.
Oh yeah, I suppose the USB Type-C comes out the back and it can go round the side and charge your tablet if you have one. It's not lengthened just to do the Steam Deck. Yeah,
as long as it reaches.
Yes, that's what everybody says. Okay, next up is the Logitech MX Keys Mini Minimalist Wireless Illuminated Keyboard. This is down in price from £109.99p, which we could round up to £110, to £70, which we can round down to £69.99. I got that mixed up, didn't I? This is a graphite, and it looks quite nice. I can't say personally I would have one of these because I have the full-length version of it, and Ted, I think you have the full-length version too.
I do.
But for anyone who's looking for a wee pocketable keyboard to take with them for their tablet or Just this decks or something like that. Maybe they might be using this could work quite nicely.
And it's a lovely keyboard, isn't it? The thing about the small one though is the cursor keys, and I'm sure you're the same.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're not full size cursor keys. I just find that really annoying. I like the fact that the full size MX keys has got proper size cursor keys, but of course it's a payoff. It's physics, isn't it? You can't have everything.
Yeah,
but
also
it's
enough to be able to navigate around a Word document.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I didn't realise that they did them in pink and in grey. I've always only seen these in black, but fancy a pink one.
Well, that's the three colours that are now available, but you have to pay the 83. That's £83 and 48 or 49p for the pink one, 48p for the pale grey, and then the graphite, the cool colour, is 70. So I'd quite happily have that.
Yeah.
But I don't have need for one.
No, nor me. But it's a nice buy for someone who might need it.
Certainly is.
Right, my next one is the we're staying with Logitech again, look. Logitech G435 Lightspeed gaming headset, which has got a plug-in microphone if you want it, but you can also use it just with the microphone built in. It looks really nice. I think we've highlighted this on the show before. Oh! They've taken the deal away.
I see that.
Right. That's very annoying. Yesterday it was down from £75 to £50. Moving on.
Well, according to Keepa, it seems to go up and down and up and down. So, looking at the last two, I reckon that it could come down again in the next few days. But,
okay.
Yeah, there's a promotional message. You could do it, and people, if they're interested, could check it out during the week.
Yeah, okay. We'll leave it in the show notes then. But they do look quite nice, as we've said before. And they've got quite stylish kind of colouring going on. I guess they're for the kids. For the kids!
Yeah. 18 hours of battery life. They look like nice ones, and they work with PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. If you can get it for the right price. Mm. Next up is... this actually got me, because there was something that Amazon did. Yes, right. So this is the TechNet PD power bank. This is a 22.5 watt, 10,000 milliamp hour mobile phone portable charger, and it's down to $15.99. But if you have a look at that deal price on Amazon, it says that the median price is £20. Not the RRP or whatever, but the median price. I haven't seen Amazon do that before.
Where does it say that?
Just if you the Amazon listing where it says deal 20% off, $15.99. Yeah. Underneath it says median price, and then the line through $19.99.
No, I don't see that. It just says was $19.99. It's obviously a Northern Ireland thing.
This is the median selling price paid by.
Oh, sorry. If you hover over the eye, you get a pop up.
But it doesn't say median price to the left of it?
No.
Ooh, that's weird. Well.
Anyway, that's £5 off.
It is, yes, and that's kind of nice. But
what's that thing on top of it? It's just the number 10.
Yes.
What's the number 10 about?
10,000 milliamp hours.
Okay.
It looks like quite a nice little power bank. I'd love one, but unfortunately it does not ship to Northern Ireland because we're second rate.
Yeah. What's the 60 watt thing? Oh, that's the cable. Oh, okay, so they supply you with a 60 watt rated cable, even though you can only get 22.5 watts out of it, which is nice. That's good.
Yes. Moving on.
Very good. Okay, next one's for you, really. So please take it.
All right, well, you've linked to the AMD Ryzen 7 5700X, which is a rather tasty, if last-gen processor, but they've dropped the price from £329.01, which is all right, I suppose, down to £185, which is dead cheap. I would like that. It's very nice, but I still go for the bigger numbers. So I'm more interested in that Ryzen 9 5950X, which is down from £750 to £475. That's a blistering amount of processor that you'll probably never use, but and it doesn't really sort of affect your gaming having the Ryzen 9 over the Ryzen 7 or the Ryzen 5. But I like to have the highest number possible, no matter what. Aside from whenever it comes to STDs.
What about the 5900X? Because that's significantly cheaper than the 5950. I suppose it's just the previous generation.
No, it's just the 5950 came out afterward, and it was just a more refined and slightly better processor again, without actually taking a step up into the next generation of the 6000 series. But yeah, the Ryzen 5000 series was an excellent collection of processors that, if you need to, I'd say if you have one that's maybe of a lower class, now would be the time to maybe pick up a slightly faster one without having to change the motherboard for which you're setting it into.
Very nice. Have you started seeing any 5-month payments yet, incidentally, on Amazon?
No, but I'm not looking for them. I think I have one at the moment. I can't remember what it is.
Right.
I'm paying something off at the moment, so I don't imagine I'll see one for a while. The
last time we spoke about it, you generally were not seeing them again, and I was seeing them with everything. It seems to have swapped around again.
Yeah, but it might be because I'd taken out a 5-month thing, so they probably won't be serving me an electronics one for a while.
Okay.
Until I've paid it off.
Okay.
So next up is a Samsung USB Type-C thumb drive, flash drive, if you like. This is 256 gigabytes, 400 megabytes per second, USB 3.1, and it is only £23.99. I thought this was quite good, although I'm noticing it does not dispatch for 1 to 2 months, which is a bit barmy. There is a
1st of March.
I know. There's a 64 gigabyte version of it for £31.11, which is still a pretty good price, I have to say. But I would want that 256 gigabyte one, and it's got a couple of little indents that you can attach to cable-y things and take with your key rings or what have you. So it might be a nice little USB to have on your keyring.
What's that? What's that strange shape about on the back?
It's pregnant.
If you look at the fifth picture down, you can see that it kind of goes out at the back. That's a bit odd. How big is it? Let's have a look and see if there's any measurements.
But it's USB Type-C, so it really is very, very small. They've had to go out the ways because if you think about the size of the end of a USB Type-C, and that's not USB-A. It's maybe twice the size of USB Type-C wide.
Oh yeah. There's a. Sorry, I missed the picture of it open where you can see the connector. Yeah. That really is small, isn't it? Blimey.
So they have to put the storage somewhere.
Yeah. That's why it's pregnant.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
24 quid. Lovely.
And lastly.
Lastly is the Sony Xperia 10 Mark IV, down from 399 quid to 346, and I am being offered 5 months of 69.25 on this. And actually, this is a really nice device which gets overlooked. The 10 series of the Xperia, this kind of generation of them, they kind of brought it up to speed a bit, and they made it more like towards the 5 series. The 5 series is still like silly 800 quid money, 900 even, and this is 350 here, as I've said. You don't get all the camera smarts, but if you don't want the camera smarts, you don't get the Qi charging. But actually, a lot of the rest of it you do get, and it's slightly smaller than the 5 as well. It's a nice little dinky device, I think, and much overlooked. And there's 50 quid off of it, 55 quid off of it for those who want to take the dive. I recommend that, and I enjoyed reviewing it.
Yeah. I'm just noticing, I'm getting 5 monthly payments on that. £69.
Right.
That's not the Barclays one. There's a different interface once again. Maybe I haven't been looking for that. There's purchase options and add-ons. One-time Amazon monthly payments or Barclays.
That's really... you see, I'm not being offered the 5 monthly payments on the black one, but I am on the... What's that one? Purple. I am on the purple one, and on the white one, I'm not. So yeah, they're only offering me the 5 monthly payments on the purple one. Really, Amazon are just off the wall, aren't they?
But it's not coming up on any of them unless I click that drop down that says payment plans, and then I get to see them. So it's a layout thing for me that I'm not seeing them immediately.
Right. Very, very odd.
God, Amazon's website is just a nightmare. It's getting more and more complicated.
Really, and it's quite interesting how we can compare it with each other, and we almost always see different things, like that thing about the median price just now.
Yeah. Oh, it's an RRP on this one, not median price on this one.
Very
bizarre.
Yes.
All right. Well, look, we're going to love yous and leave yous. I thought we were going to come in quite short this week, but we're just under 2 hours, and that'll do yous. So we'll be back next week with Go West and Mr. Ricky West. Check out his YouTube channel in the meantime and see what he's been up to, because he's doing unboxings and all kinds of interesting little reviews over there too. Do get in touch if you have anything you wish to add. If you want to tell Ted that he's wonderful and I'm a moron, then actually don't do that. That'll be a bit mean. You can do that by emailing us at gareth@techaddicts.uk. You can also find us on Twitter as well, at techaddictsuk. You can find me on Twitter too, at Gareth Miles, GarethMyles. I also have my .com that is spelt the same stupid way. Ted, where can they find you?
They cannot find me on Twitter. Well, you can if you want, but I'm not there much. TedSalmon.com is the best place for me, my website, but I also hang out in MeWe, so do join us in MeWe. Link in the show notes to that. But there's also links to that from TedSalmon.com. All the audio podcasts and all the MeWe groups you can link to from there. So do come and join us and join in the fun. If you want to buy me a copy, that would be really welcome, and thank you very much in advance. You can do that at paypal.me/TedSalmon.
All right, thanks very much, folks, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.